Recording in progress.
Brand new batteries. Can you turn your mic on?
Testing 1, 2.
Oh, you got it. You got it already.
But it sounds like
But it sounds like what?
it sounds distant, like it's the only one mic is working.
Okay, if I talk louder, would it work?
Yeah, we can hear you. Yes.
Okay. Try,
Hello? Can you hear me?
It's distant, but I can hear you.
okay, so everybody needs to pretend there are no mics even into the mic.
Yeah.
Okay, for the folks at home. The blessed
Thank you.
folks. Good morning. Good morning, Rosie. Nice to see you. And where do I know you from?
That's Spencer.
Oh. Oh,
Get recognized with the
I
man.
was like, I think there you are. Okay, and how do I know you?
I'm George Blair.
Oh, okay. Drew, nice to see you, Drew. Great, okay. So Joy will be here momentarily and then we will begin the lighting of that. You guys want to light the candles? Yeah. And then leave the, they're in the back corner over there. What? Four. Okay. We need to move this down so we can open the piano, is that what it is?
Trying to avoid.
Yes.
Yeah, because you're gonna be over here.
It's very.
Mhm. Okay.
Yeah, that's great.
Gotta shoot the scenery, as they say.
Most gracious God, we give you thanks for this day, for our lives, for this season of the year, and for all the people who are gathered here and at home. We give you thanks. Gallery view. Yay, there are folks at home. Sue Yamamoto, Mimi, Gary and Joyce, Teresa, Joanna Michael, maybe Dan, Barb Peterson, and Marcia Porter. So we are glad you are all here. Blessings. Merry Christmas, everybody. We have in our congregation today Monty and Mayo, Spencer, Roberta, Heather, Rosie Dalton, Judy Hartshorn, Ernestine, Drew, grandson to Joy Asinas, and Monty and Mayo, Joel and Carmen Hortialis. And then Laura Shaw just came in. And Ed McCrae is here to be Scrooge. And Martina is here to be the Methodist woman. Alicia, Carmenita, Joelito, Hortialis are also here in the play. Henry Hurd and Jen Hurd are here to be in the play. Tom Summers has, at the last minute, come in to be the Ghost of Christmas Present. And Zachary Lotshaw is going to be Bob Cratchit. So we are as well as we can be. Let us begin with the lighting of the candles are lit. Okay, so, O come, Emmanuel. If you-
The scripture today is found in Luke chapter 1, verses 68 to 78.
I don't even see it.
This is all the
Can you hear me over there?
program.
Okay.
Now they can.
Good.
Huh.
Okay,
Go
Bob and
ahead.
Pat, Bob and Pat, mute, please. Bless you, and mute.
Luke verse 68 says, "Blessed be the Lord God of Israel, for he has visited and redeemed his people, and hath raised up a horn of salvation for us in the house of his servant David, as he spoke by the mouth of his holy prophets from of old, that we should be saved from our enemies and from the hand of all who hate us, to perform the mercy promised to our fathers, and to redeem his holy covenant, the oath which he swore to our father Abraham to grant us, that we, being delivered from the hand of our enemies, might service him without fear, in holiness and righteousness before him all the days of our life. And you, child, will be saved, called the prophet of the Most High, for you will go before the Lord to prepare his way, to give knowledge of salvation to his people in the forgiveness of their sins, through the tender mercy of our God, when the day shall dawn upon us from on high, to give light to those who sit in darkness and in the shadow of death, to guide our feet into the way of the peace." This is the word of God for the people of God.
Thanks be to God.
Today, we light the prophet's candle of hope and the Bethlehem candle of faith.
Oh, come. Hallelujah. This play was first done in Chicago in 1936 with Orson Welles and Lionel Barrymore as the two narrator and Scrooge. And it was sponsored by Campbell Soup, and it was out of the Wrigley Building in Chicago. I ask your grace be spread to us. We are unrehearsed and as a group anyway, and just know that this is our offering to God today. Okay. Good morning. This is your narrator, Pastor Bethany Carpenter. There are clearly a number of ways in which a Christmas carol could be introduced. Myself, I am most struck by the happy fortune that enables us this Christmas to present Mr. Ed McCrae in the world's best loved Christmas story. There is, I think, nothing more eagerly awaited anywhere, more firmly rooted in the hearts of our millions of radio families than this yearly performance. As Charles Dickens wrote it, A Christmas Carol has, by common consent, long been a classic. Hark the angels sing, Marley was dead. There's no doubt whatever about that. The register of his burial was signed by the clergyman, the clerk, the undertaker, and the chief mourner. Scrooge signed it, and Scrooge's name was good upon the stock exchange for anything he chose to put his hand to. Old Marley was as dead as a doornail. Scrooge knew he was dead, of course. Scrooge and Marley were partners for I don't know how many years, but he was a tight-fisted hand at the grindstone was Scrooge. A squeezing, wrenching, grasping, scraping, clutching, covetous old sinner. And once upon a time, of all the good days in the year, on Christmas Eve, old Scrooge sat in his counting house, a cheerless, grim place, if ever there was one. The door of Scrooge's counting house was open that he might keep his eye upon his clerk, Bob Cratchit, who in a cold and dismal little cell beyond worked at his ledgers. God rest he may.
19, 20, 21, 22.
God rest he very
Gentlemen, let nothing you dismiss. 23, 26, 29, 9 carry 2, Christmas Day. 17, 13, 17.
Bob Cratchit,
Yes, Mr. Scrooge.
stop that infernal caterwauling.
Yes, sir. 9, 15, 17.
They're singing their idiotic Christmas carols at my very door. Go on, get away from my door.
Oh, Governor, it's no
Go
custom at Christmas.
elsewhere to sing your blasted Christmas carols, or I'll give you something to sing for.
Right, sir. Merry Christmas anyway, sir.
Yes, and I don't want any of your old customs. Take your fellow fools and go away. Christmas, humbug.
Right, sir. Merry Christmas anyway.
Ah,
Good King Wenceslas looked out on the feast of Steve.
Cratchit, get that letter from Higgins and Blackhorn. Then I want you to finish posting the ledger. And after that, you can pop over to Parthagil's and tell Ephraim Parthagil you've come after the 17 and 6 he's owed me since Michaelmas. And tell him I shall have a constable over there if he doesn't pay at once.
Mr. Parthagil's wife has been ill, sir.
And what do I care about his wife? I want my 17 and 6.
I just thought it'd be Christmas, sir.
Christmas. You mention that word to me once more, Bob Cratchit, and I'll...
Merry Christmas, Uncle. Merry Christmas, Bob.
Merry Christmas, Master Fred.
God save you, Uncle.
Oh, humbug.
Christmas a humbug, Uncle, and I'm sure you don't mean that.
I mean just that. Exactly that. Merry Christmas. What right have you to be merry? What reason have you? You're poor enough.
Well, what right have you to be dismal about Christmas, Uncle? You're rich enough.
Ah,
Now, Uncle, don't be cross.
well, what else can I be when I live in such a world of fools? What's Christmas to you but a time for paying bills without money? Merry Christmas, a time for finding yourself a year older and not an hour richer. Could I work my will, every idiot who goes about singing Merry Christmas on his lips would be boiled in his own pudding and buried with a stake of holly right through his heart. He should.
Uncle!
Well, nephew, keep Christmas in your own way, and I'll keep it in mine.
Keep it, but you don't keep it, Uncle.
Well, let me leave it alone then. What do you want, a Christmas present? I've no doubt.
I came to wish you a Merry Christmas, Uncle.
A Merry Christmas. Much good. May Christmas do to you much good it ever has done you.
There are many things from which I derive good, and by which I have not profited materially. I dare say, Uncle, Christmas is among them. I have always thought of Christmas as a good time, a kind, forgiving, charitable, pleasant time. And therefore, Uncle, I thought it, though it has never put a scrap of gold or silver in my pocket, I believe it has done me good, and will do me good. And I say, God bless it.
God bless Christmas, hurrah!
Let me hear another word out of you, Bob Cratchit, and you will keep your Christmas by losing your situation. As to you, nephew, I wonder, you don't go into Parliament, you talk enough nonsense.
Oh, don't be angry, Uncle. I want nothing from you. I ask nothing of you. Why can't we be friends?
Good afternoon.
I'm sorry you feel that way. Well, I tried. A Merry Christmas to you, Uncle.
Good afternoon.
And a Happy New Year, too.
Humbug.
And Merry Christmas to you, Bob, and the missus, and to Tiny Tim.
Oh, thank you, Master Fred. Same to you, sir. Good day, sir.
Good day, Bob.
Nonsense. Twaddle, flummery, talking of Christmas and not 2 sixpence to jingle together in his trousers pocket. Hey, Bob Cratchit, come here. What are you doing there?
I'm only putting a bit more coal in the fire, Mr. Scrooge, seeing it's so cold in there, sir.
You put that coal back in the scuttle. A fire, fire indeed. I can tell you, if you use coal at that rate, you and I will soon be parting company, Bob Cratchit. You understand that? There's many a young fellow like you would like your situation, you know.
Sorry, sir. My fingers are getting a bit stiff with the
Well,
cold.
then put on your mittens. There's someone at the door. Go on, see who it is.
Yes, sir.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Is this the firm of Scrooge and Marley?
Yes, ma'am.
I should like to see the head of the firm, if I may.
Oh, very good, ma'am.
What is it?
Lady to see you, Mr. Scrooge.
Have I the pleasure of addressing Mr. Scrooge or Mr. Marley?
Marley's been dead these 7 years tonight. I'm Scrooge.
What now? Well now, Mr. Scrooge, at this season of the year, it's only fitting that we who are more fortunate should raise a fund to buy the poor some meat and drink and means of warmth. You may not believe it, but many thousands are now in want of common necessities. And hundreds of thousands are in want of the simplest comforts.
Are there no prisons?
Well, there are plenty of prisons, sir.
And the workhouses? They're still in operation, I trust.
I wish I could say they're not, but they are, sir.
The treadmill and the poor law are in full vigor then?
Both are very busy, sir.
I'm glad to hear that. I was afraid from what you said at first that something had occurred to stop them in their useful course.
No, sir. All these institutions that you mentioned are flourishing, but it's nevertheless true that some additional provision for the poor and destitute must be made. A few of us are from the Methodist Foundry, are endeavoring to raise such a fund, you see. And what may I put you down for?
Nothing.
Oh, I see you want to be anonymous, sir.
I wish to be left alone. I don't make merry myself at Christmas time, and I can't afford to make a lot of other idle people merry. I help to support the establishments that take care of the poor. They cost enough. Let those who are badly off go there.
Many can't get there, sir, and many would rather die.
Then my advice to them is to do so and decrease the surplus population. Besides, I'm only your word that all of this is so.
It's the truth, Mr. Scrooge.
Well, so be it then. It's not my business. It's enough for a man to understand his own business and not to interfere with other people's. Mine occupies me constantly. Good afternoon, madam.
I I quite understand, Mr. Scrooge. Good afternoon.
Cratchit, show this lady out.
Yes, sir.
I lost me.
This way, ma'am, please. Ma'am, I couldn't help overhearing. I should like to contribute tuppence.
Cratchit,
Yes, sir. It isn't much, but it's all I can afford. But there are others worse off than I.
You're a generous fellow. I wish I might say so of your employer.
Cratchit,
Yes, sir. Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon, sir.
Cratchit. Close the door.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Yes, sir.
Close the door.
Yes, sir. 24, 21, one carry 3, new scarlet tippet for Tiny Tim, a comb for Martha, 23, 3 and carry 3, a hair ribbon for Belinda, 4, 7, 12, 15.
That's it?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I suppose you want the entire day tomorrow?
If it's quite convenient, sir.
It's not convenient, and it's not fair either. And I suppose I can't do anything about it. Heh. If I was to stop half a crown of your wages, you'd think yourself very ill-used. Am I right?
Well, sir,
Yeah, but you don't think me ill-used when I pay a day's wages for no work.
It's only once a year, sir.
Once a year. Once a year, indeed. Fine excuse for picking a man's pocket every 25th of December. But I suppose there's no good talking. You must have the whole day. Well, see that you are here all the earlier the next morning. You understand?
Oh, I will, sir. I will indeed. Good night, sir, and Merry Christmas.
Ah,
Merry Christmas.
humbug.
The office was closed in a twinkling, and Bob Cratchit, with the long ends of his white comforter dangling below his waist, for he boasted no greatcoat, went down a slide on Cornhill 20 times in honor of its being Christmas Eve, and then ran home to Camden Town as hard as he could pelt to play with his family at Blindman's Buff. Scrooge, on the other hand, took his melancholy supper in his usual melancholy tavern, having read all the newspapers and having spent the rest of the evening with his banker's book, went to his dismal house. Darkness is cheap, and Scrooge liked it. The yard was so dark that even Scrooge, who knew its every stone, had to grope with his hands through the fog and the frost to find the door. Scrooge walked through his rooms to see that all was right. Room, bedroom, storeroom, all as they should be. Nobody under the table, nobody under the sofa, nobody under the bed, nobody in the closet. Closed the door. He locked himself in. He double locked himself in. He took off his cravat to put on his dressing gown and slippers and his nightcap, and sat down before the fire to take his gruel. What child is this who went to
Marley.
What's this?
I could have sworn I saw old Marley. Help. Marley's been dead these 7 years. What I need is a good night's. Oh, what was that? Someone's coming in the wine cellar. The door is locked, double locked. Something. He said he told her outside my door. But I won't believe it. This humbug is still.
Ebenezer Scrooge.
Marley? Oh no. What do you want with me?
I want much with you, Ebenezer.
Who are you?
Ask me who I was.
Oh, you're very particular for a ghost. All right then. Who were you?
In life, I was your partner, Jacob Marley.
Jacob Marley. But you're dead. You died 7 years ago.
7 years ago this very night.
Uh-huh.
What's wrong, Ebenezer? Don't you believe in me?
I do not.
You doubt your senses, Ebenezer?
Yes. Every little thing affects them. A slight disorder of the stomach makes them cheat. You can't be a ghost. You may be an undigested bit of beef, or a blot of mustard, or a crumb of cheese, a fragment of an underdone potato. There may be more gravy than grave about you, whatever you are. Ah, humbug, I tell you, humbug. I do believe in you. You are a ghost.
Thank you.
But why do you walk the earth, Jacob?
It is,
Why do you come here?
it is required of every man that the spirit within him should walk abroad among his fellow men and travel far and wide to witness what it cannot share, but might have shared on earth and turned to happiness.
But tell me, Jacob, is that chain you wear around you?
I wear the chain I forged in life. I made it link by link, yard by yard, by my own free will. Is its pattern strange to you, Ebenezer?
Cash boxes, keys and padlocks, ledgers and purses.
Yours was as heavy and as long as this 7 years ago. You have labored on it since, Ebenezer.
Oh, Jacob, speak comfort to me, Jacob.
Comfort. I have none to give. I cannot rest. I cannot stay. I cannot linger. Weary journeys lie before me.
You travel fast?
Yes, Ebenezer, on the wings of the wind.
7 years dead and traveling all the time.
7 years, Ebenezer. 7 years of remorse, Ebenezer. Do you know that no space of regret can make amends for the one life's opportunities have misused?
You were always a good man in business, Jacob.
Busyness? Mankind was my busyness. Charity, mercy, benevolence, they were all my business. My trade dealings were but a drop of water in the comprehensive ocean of my busyness.
Jacob, take on so now, Jacob.
Listen to me, Ebenezer.
I'll listen to you, Jacob. Come on, Jacob, now. Speak to me, but don't be so flowery.
Ebenezer, I am here to warn you that you have yet a chance, yet a hope of escaping my fate. Do you hear that, Ebenezer?
Yes, Jacob, yes. You always were a good friend to me, Jacob. Thanks, Jacob, but go on. How shall I escape? Oh, I'm afraid, Jacob.
You will be haunted by 3 spirits.
Is that the only chance and hope, Jacob?
It is your only chance and hope.
Oh, well, then I think I'd rather not.
Without their visits, you cannot hope to shun the path I tread. Expect the first tomorrow, when the bell tolls 1.
Couldn't I take them all at once and have it over, Jacob?
Ebenezer, look back for your own sake. You remember what has passed between us. Remember, when the bell tolls 1, look for the first spirit.
Marley, oh, Jacob Marley.
Scrooge awakened. He was lying on his bed, fully dressed. Suddenly, the curtains of his bed were drawn aside, and Scrooge found himself face to face with the unearthly visitor who drew them, as close to it as I am now to you, and I am standing in the spirit at your elbow. It was a strange figure, like a child, yet not so like a child as like an old man. Its hair, which hung around its neck and down its back, was white as if with age, and yet the face had not a wrinkle in it, and the most tender bloom was on the skin. The arms were long and muscular, the hands too, as if its hold were of uncommon strength.
Ebenezer Scrooge.
Who's that?
Ebenezer Scrooge, I've come for you.
You are you the spirit, sir, whose coming was foretold me?
I am that spirit.
What are you?
I am the ghost of Christmas past.
Long past?
No, your past.
What do you want of me? What brings you here to haunt me?
Your welfare, Ebenezer Scrooge. Rise and walk with me.
Oh, no, not that. Not out the window. Well, I can't do that. I'll fall. I'm not a spirit. I'm mortal and I'll fall.
Bear but a touch of my hand upon your heart, and you shall be upheld in more than this. Come, follow me.
Where are we? What's become of the city? And there's snow on the ground. Where are we?
These are the shadows of things that have been. You recognize this countryside?
Oh, I know every inch of it. Every rock, every tree.
And that bleak building over there.
That building, yeah. I was a boy there, yes. I went to school in that horrible place.
Do you recollect that path?
Yeah, I could walk it blindfolded.
Strange to have forgotten it so many years. Come, let us go closer. Look through the window into that cold, barren room. What do you see, Ebenezer Scrooge?
I see a boy.
A solitary child, neglected by his family, alone.
Yes, I know that boy. Oh, I was so lonely. Poor boy.
Your lip is trembling, Scrooge. And what is that on your cheek?
It's nothing at all. I wish oh, it's too late now.
What's the matter?
Nothing. Waifs come to my door singing Christmas carols last night, and there was a boy like that among them. Pale, thin little boy in a ragged coat. I should like to have given him something, that's all.
Is that all? Come, Ebenezer Scrooge. Let us see another Christmas. Do you know this place, Ebenezer Scrooge?
Know it. Know it. This is the counting house where I was apprenticed. It's my old master, bless his heart, old Fezziwig. My master, alive again, and hosting one of his Christmas parties. Listen to him. And there's Dick Wilkins, poor Dick. Dear, yes. And look, there's Mrs. Fezziwig herself, looking younger than any of them. And the table's all loaded with roasts and cider, mince pie and beer. Oh, what a jolly time we used to have.
That carefree young man with the light heart and gay smile. Do you recognize him?
Yes. Merciful heaven. How happy I was then.
The small matter called Fezziwig to make those silly folks so full of joy.
Small matter, small indeed.
Isn't it? He has spent only a few pounds on your mortal money. Is that so much that he deserves praise?
It's not that. It's not that, Spirit. Old Fezziwig has the power to make us happy or unhappy, to make our service light or heavy. His power lies in words and looks and things so tiny that it's impossible to count them. The happiness he gives is quite as great as if it costs.
What's the matter?
Nothing,
Something, I
nothing at
think.
all, Spirit.
Something, I think.
No,
Speak.
well, only it's just that I should like to say a word or two to my clerk about Cratchit, that's all.
My time is short. I have yet another dream to make.
Where now?
Come. This is our last visit to the past, Ebenezer. Here in this little room with a fair young girl by your side. Do you recognize yourself, Ebenezer?
No, spare me this.
You're old now, a man, prime of your life. Your face has begun to wear the signs of fear and avarice. Your eyes are greedy, deep, eager, restless, eyes of a miser.
No, please.
She knows it too. That girl by your side, there are tears in her eyes.
It matters very little to you, very little. I know that.
Belle, have I changed towards you?
When we were engaged, we were both poor.
And what is it better then? Better to be poor?
Better at least to be happy. You're changed. You were another man then.
I was a boy. You blame me because I've grown wiser? Have I ever tried to break our engagement?
In words, no. Never.
In what then?
In a changed nature, in altered spirit. In everything that made my love of any value in your sight. So I release you from your promise.
Belle.
At first it may cause you pain to lose me. A very brief pain. But soon it will be dim, like a half-remembered dream. An unprofitable dream. And you'll be happy to awake from such a dream. May you be happy in the life you have chosen, Ebenezer, for the love of sheep whom you once loved.
That's enough. Show me no more, no more.
These are the shadows of things that have been. They are what they are. Do not blame me.
No more. Take me home.
One more shadow. Come. Do you see this man, Ebenezer Scrooge? This man might have been you, and the woman beside him, your wife. And that girl, she might have been your daughter, Ebenezer Scrooge. She might have called you father. She might have been a springtime in the haggard winter of your life.
Spirit, let me go. Show me no more.
Listen now while they speak.
Belle, I saw an old friend of yours today.
Who was it?
Guess.
How can I? Oh, I know. Mr. Scrooge.
Mr. Scrooge it was. I passed his office window. It wasn't shuttered. And there was a candle inside, so I couldn't help seeing him. His partner Marley lies at the point of death, I hear. And there Scrooge sat, all alone. Quite alone in the world, I do believe.
Spirit, I can't bear any more. Leave me, haunt me no more. Take me back. Take me back.
On a stroke of one, Scrooge awakened suddenly and sat bolt upright in his bed. He recalled the words of Marley's ghost and wondered from which direction the second specter would appear. At that moment, nothing between a baby and a rhinoceros would have astonished him very much. Now, being prepared for almost anything, he was not by any means prepared for nothing. And consequently, when no shape appeared, he was taken with a violent fit of trembling. 5 minutes, 10 minutes, a quarter of an hour went by, yet nothing came. Then, as he sat in his bed, he became aware gradually of a great blaze of ruddy light, which seemed to shine upon him from the adjoining room. He got up softly and shuffled in his slippers to the door. It was his own sitting room, no doubt about that, but it had undergone a surprising transformation. The walls and ceiling were so hung with living green that it looked a perfect grove, from every part of which bright, gleaming berries glistened, and such a mighty blaze went roaring up the chimney as had never been known in Scrooge's time, or for many and many a winter season gone. Heaped on the floor, forming a kind of throne, were turkeys, geese, poultry, game, great joists of beef, suckling pigs, round rings of sausages, mince pies, plum puddings, barrels of oysters,
spread hot chestnuts and seething bowls of punch that made the chamber dim with their delicious steam. In easy state upon this couch, there sat a jolly giant, glorious to see, who bore a glowing torch, its shape not unlike Plenty's horn, and held it up, high up, to shed its light on Scrooge as he came peeping round the door.
Come in, Ebenezer Scrooge, and know me better. I am the ghost of Christmas present. Look upon me. You've never seen the like of me before.
You're different from the other spirit. You're tall, almost a giant. And that great torch you carry.
Its light pours into the homes of rich and poor alike.
Spirit, take me where you will. Last time I went against my will and learned a lesson which is working now. If you have anything to teach me, let me profit by it.
Touch my robe, Ebenezer Scrooge. Touch my robe.
Where have you brought me, Spirit?
An humble dwelling in an humble street.
It's humble enough.
Yet there is happiness there.
Who are these people? Who's that woman? And the children?
These are the family of your clerk, Bob Cratchit, his wife, dressed in a twice-turned gown, but brave in ribbons, laying the table for their Christmas dinner, and there, assisting her, is your daughter Belinda. And the young man with the fork in the stuffing, that's Master Peter Cratchit, and the two little Cratchits. Listen, Scrooge.
Martha, Mother.
Why, bless your heart alive, Martha. My dear, Merry Christmas to you.
Merry Christmas, Mother.
Merry Christmas, Martha. Oh, I'm so glad to see you.
How late you are, my dear.
We had a deal of work to finish up last night, and we had to clear away this morning.
Well, never mind, so long as you're here now. Sit you down before the fire and have a warm. Lord bless you.
Where's Father?
He's been to church with Tiny Tim. He'll be along directly.
How is Tiny Tim, Mother? Any better at all?
Sometimes I think he is, and sometimes I think, oh dear God, if anything should happen to Tiny Tim.
Mother, you mustn't even think of such a thing.
I see them.
There's Tiny Tim.
There they come. Hello, Father.
Merry Christmas, everybody. Martha, welcome, my dear.
Merry Christmas, Father. And Tim.
Merry Christmas, Martha.
Oh, Timmy, darling. Oh, Father, I'm so glad to be home.
And we're so glad to have you, Martha.
And how did little Tim behave in church, Bob?
Oh, as gold, and better.
I like church, Mother. Oh, they sang the nicest songs. I hope people saw me there.
Saw you there? Why, Tim?
Well, don't you see? Because I'm lame, and if they saw my crutch, then it might be pleasant for them to remember on Christmas who made blind beggars walk and blind men see.
Oh, bless you, my son.
Oh, Mother, is the dinner ready? I'm so hungry.
Yes, children, we're all ready. Come, take your places now. Bob, wait your turn. There's plenty stuffing and dressing and plum pudding for all of you. Martha, you care for Tiny Tim?
Yes, Mother.
You see that he needs plenty, please. He must get tall and well. Now,
Tell me if Tiny Tim will live.
I see a vacant seat in the poor chimney corner, in a crutch without an owner, carefully preserved.
Oh, no, it's a kind spirit. Say he's spared. Say he'll live.
If these shadows remain unaltered by the future, the child will die.
Amen.
Amen.
And now, my dears, with such a dinner a toast, a Merry Christmas to us all, and God bless us.
Amen.
God bless us, everyone.
And now to Mr. Scrooge. I give you a toast to Mr. Scrooge, founder of the feast.
The founder of the feast, indeed, who pays you all of 15 shillings a week, Bob. I wish I had him here. I'd give him a piece of my mind to feast on. And I hope we'd have a good appetite for it.
Oh, my dear, the children. Christmas Day.
Well, it should be Christmas Day, I'm sure, on which one drinks the health of such an odious, stingy, unfeeling man as Mr. Scrooge. You know who he is, Bob. Nobody knows it better than you, my poor fellow.
My dear, Christmas Day.
I'll drink to his health for your sake, and the day's, not for his. Long life to him. A Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. He'll be very merry and very happy, I have no doubt.
And I say, God bless him too, Mother, and everyone.
Yeah.
There was nothing of high mark in all of this. They were not a handsome family, these Cratchits. They were not well dressed. Their shoes were far from being waterproof. Their clothes were scanty, and they had known, very likely, the insides of a pawnbroker's. But they were happy, grateful, pleased with one another, and contented with the time. When at last they faded, Scrooge had his eye upon them, and especially on Tiny Tim, until the last. Many calls Scrooge made that night with the ghost of Christmas present. Much they saw and far they went, and many places they visited, but always with a happy end. The spirit stood beside sick beds, and they were cheerful. On foreign lands, and they were close at home by poverty, and it was rich. In poorhouse, hospital, and jail, where vain man in his little brief authority had not made fast the door and barred the spirit out. The spirit left his blessing. It was a long night, if it was only a night.
Forgive me, Spirit, I see something strange. Who are these?
Look down here. See this frail boy and girl, meager, ragged, prostrate in their humility. Graceful youth should have filled out their features with beauty. But alas, no, they are pinched and shriveled and aged before their time. No perversion of humanity as monsters half so terrible as these. Regard them well.
Spirit, are they yours?
They are mankind's. They cling to me, appealing from their fathers. This boy is called ignorance. This girl is want.
Please, sir, may I have a penny?
Beware of them both and all of their degree, but most of all, beware of this boy, for on his brow I see that written which is doom, unless the writing be erased. Deny it and bide the dreadful end.
Have they no refuge, no resource?
Are there no prisons? Are there no workhouses?
Scrooge looked about for the ghost. It had vanished, and he found himself once more in his bed, in his dressing gown and his nightcap on his head. He heard the clock strike, and then he remembered the prediction of old Jacob Marley, and lifting up his head, beheld the third spirit. A solemn phantom, shrouded in black, draped and hooded, coming toward him slowly and silently like a mist along the ground.
I know you. You are the ghost of Christmas yet to come. You'll show me the shadows of things that have not happened, but will happen in the time before us. Answer me, Spirit, ghost of the future. I fear you more than any specter I've seen. Yet I know your purpose is to do me good. And as I hope to live to be another man from what I was, lead on, lead on. Tonight's waning fast and time's precious. Spirit, why had you brought me here again? Here to Bob Cratchit's home, but it's not the same. Why is it so quiet? So very quiet here.
Mother, please.
Oh, my son, my little son, Tiny Tim, I loved him so.
Oh, Mother dear, you mustn't. It's almost time for Father to be home. Don't let him see you crying.
Yes, Martha.
He's late tonight.
He walks slower than he used to. And yet I've known him to walk very fast indeed with Tiny Tim on his shoulder.
So have I, Mother.
But he was light to carry. And his father loved him so that it was no trouble. No trouble at all. Bob,
Good evening, my dear.
you're late, Bob.
Yes, I'm sorry, my dear. I went to the churchyard today. Wish you could have gone with me. It would have done your heart good to see how sweet and green a place it is. But you'll see it often, I promised him. Yes, I promised Tiny Tim we walk there of a Sunday.
Father dear.
It's God's will, Bob.
Trying to understand it, my dear. My son, my little son, Tiny Tim, and I loved him so.
Oh, that's cruel, cruel spirit. Can't you give me one ray of hope that I may change all that? That Tiny Tim may live? Where are you taking me now? Here? On a common street, Spirit? What is there for me to learn here? Who are those people?
I don't know much about it either way. I only know he died.
When did he die?
Last night, I believe.
It's likely to be a very cheap funeral. For upon my life, I don't know anybody to go to it. Suppose we make up a party and volunteer?
I don't mind going if a lunch is provided.
Oh, come to think of it, I'll bet I was his best friend.
What?
We would nod to each other when we met.
Spirit, help me. Who is this man that died? Is there no one to mourn the poor creature? No one to follow him to the grave? Perhaps they'll give him a green grave at least, like poor Tiny Tim. Perhaps. Spirit, where are we now? Merciful heaven, a churchyard overrun by grass and weeds, choked with too much burying, desolate, lonely, crumbling gravestones. Spirit, before I draw nearer to that gravestone to which you point, answer me one question. Are these shadows of things that will be, or are they shadows of things that may be only? Huh? Will you not speak to me, Spirit? What is that grave to which you point? Oh, now I see it. Oh, there's writing on that stone. The name on the headstone is Ebenezer Scrooge. Ebenezer Scrooge. Oh, no, Spirit, no, hear me. I'm not the man I was. Why show me this if I am past all hope? Tell me that I can change these dreadful shadows you've shown me by an altered life. I'll honor Christmas in my heart. I'll try to keep it all the year. I'll live in the past, the present, and the future, and I'll not shut out the lessons that they teach. Tell me, Spirit. Oh, go on, tell me. Tell me that I can sponge away the writing on that stone. Spirit, I beg you, Spirit, I beg you. Spirit, I promise. I promise on my knees. I promise. I promise. What's this? It's my own curtain. I'm home. I'm in my own bed, in my own room. And the sun's shining. It's clear. It's bright. No fog. What a beautiful day. Oh, glorious, glorious. Hey, boy. Oh, boy.
Yes, sir.
What's today?
What's that, sir?
What day is it, my fine fellow?
Today? Why, it's Christmas Day.
Ah, Christmas Day. And I haven't missed it. The spirits have done it all in one night. all in one night. Heaven be praised.
How's that, sir?
Listen, my lad, you know where the poulterer is in the next street?
I should say I did.
Intelligent boy, remarkable boy. Tell me, do you know if they sold that prize turkey that was hanging in the window?
The one as big as me.
You're a delightful boy. It's a pleasure to talk to you. Yes, my buck.
It's hanging there now, sir.
That's wonderful. Go down and tell him to send it to Bob Cratchit and his family on Broad Street. Mind you, they're not to know who paid for it. Go along, hurry, my lad. Here, wait a minute. Here's half a crown for your trouble.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And a Merry Christmas, sir.
And a Merry Christmas to you. I don't know what to do. I'm as light as a feather, as happy as an angel. I'm as merry as a schoolboy. Merry Christmas! A Merry Christmas to everybody. A Happy New Year to all the world. Woo-hoo! Hallelujah! My dear madam, how do you do?
I beg your pardon?
Well, you, madam, aren't you the gentle lady who came to my office in regard to that charity?
Well, yes, sir.
A Merry Christmas to you.
Oh, yes, sir.
Allow me to ask your pardon, madam, and will you have the goodness to accept? I prefer to whisper this.
What? Lord bless me. My dear Mr. Scrooge, are you serious?
If you please. Now, not a farthing less. A great many back payments are included in it, I assure you. Hey, will you do me that favor?
Well, my dear sir, I don't know what to say. It's such wonderful.
Now, don't say anything, please. Come and see me, will you?
I will indeed.
Thank you. I'm much obliged to you. I thank ye 50 times. Bless you. Merry Christmas.
Next morning, Scrooge was early at his office. He went early for a reason. If he could only be there first and catch Bob Cratchit coming late, that was the thing he'd set his heart upon. And he did it. Yes, he did. The clock struck 9, no Bob. 1:15, no Bob. Scrooge sat with his door open that he might see him come in. At last, he came in. His hat was off. Before he opened the door, the comforter too, and he was on his stool in a jiffy, driving away with his pen as if he were trying to overtake 9 o'clock.
15 and 21, 6 and carry the 1, 24 and carry the 2, 21 and 8 and 9.
Hello, you Cratchit.
Yes, sir.
Step this way, Cratchit, if you please. Cratchit, what do you mean by coming in at this time of day?
Why, I'm very sorry, sir. I am behind my time.
You are, yes. I think you are.
Oh, it's only once a year, Mr. Scrooge. It shall not be repeated. I was making rather merry yesterday, sir.
I'll tell you what, my friend. I'll not stand for this sort of thing any longer. And therefore, Bob Cratchit, I'm about to raise your salary.
Mr. Scrooge, are you quite yourself, sir?
No, thank heaven. I'm not quite myself. Merry Christmas, Bob. Merry Christmas, my good fellow. A merrier Christmas than I've given you in many a year. I shall raise your salary, and we'll see what we can do for Tiny Tim and the rest of your family, eh? We'll discuss this very afternoon over a Christmas bowl of hot spiced cider.
Jingle bells, jingle all the way.
Bob, make up the fire. Make it up and buy another coal scuttle before you dot another I, Bob Cratchit.
Scrooge was better than his word. He did it all and infinitely more. To Tiny Tim, who did not die, he was a second father. He became as good a friend, as good a master, and as good a man as the good old city knew, or any other good old city, town, or borough in the good old world. Some people laughed to see the alteration in him, but he let them laugh. And little heeded them. His own heart laughed. That was quite enough for him. He had no further intercourse with spirits, and it was always said of him that he knew how to keep Christmas well, if any man alive possessed the knowledge.
And may that be truly said of us, of all of us. Bless us. God bless us, everyone.
Joy to the world, the Lord is come. Let me see her King. Let every heart prepare and prove, and nature sing, and nature sing, and heaven Wonderful. Stand and bow. There are cookies and brownies in the back there if you'd like. The service is over. We can sing our closing hymn, our closing circle song if you would like. A circle song. Circle song. Circle song.
We'll collect it at the.
May the God be with you, hold you with something hands, and may you be of God's peace, to those whose hands you hold, and may the blessings of peace be with you. Be with you. Be with
Recording.
Well, you sure put yourself in the.
Those are fun.
Well, I more than called Well, now they're gonna want me next year.
Wow.